What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for Power Book 2 Ghost Season 2 Episode 4. Season 3, excuse me, Episode 4. So we start this episode off. The coffee company is off and running, okay? They have orders coming in. They got Effie overseeing the operation, and she is schooling the guys because they had one of the dudes was trying to, lowball one of the customers, and she said, hey, that's bad business. If they order 8 ounces, give them 8 ounces. Don't give them no 8-ball. Don't shortchange them because that's bad, and they won't come back. Now, down to the bar, the Tejadas done got a whole mural painted in memory of Zeke. And, Monet is like, oh, thank you so much. Oh, this is so sweet. Like, the acting, Mary's acting in this episode was horrible. And y'all know I love me some Mary J. Blige, but baby, her acting is hit or miss. And in this episode, it was terrible to me. Diana comes down talking about, I'm sorry, I was running late. And she bringing flowers and stuff. Baby, Monet ain't here for that. Monet told her to take her ass back to school. She said, well, before that happened, the rogue cop, he done rolled up on them, and Monet, told him, what the hell you doing here? She was like, you supposed to be on suspension, okay? Why are you bothering me? And she said, you thought I didn't know about that suspension. He said, well, yeah, I am suspended. That gives me more time to bother you. So, of course, now Lorenzo, Kane, Drew, was Kane even there? And Diana, they all see this cop is bothering her. And he was like, why you ain't tell me? She was like, because I was trying to handle it on my own. Then she told Diana, girl, going back to school, ain't that what you wanted? Like, don't be bothered with us. Then you want, go on. So, of course, Diana feels some kind of way. Because all she, again, she still don't seem to feel like what she did was wrong. But, child, I said my piece on that. Moving on. They get inside the bar, and Monet is telling them that it's not a good idea for them to be doing business with what's it, the Castellos, the sea crew. She said it's not a good idea. Like, they still know that they daddy missing. They suspect that we had something to do with it. It's not a good idea because we don't know what they really we don't know what they really trying to come up off of. She tells Lorenzo, Kane said, no, we're going to do it. Lorenzo says, well, I'm going to let Kane run point on this one. And she looking confused as hell. She look at Drew, and she looking back like, what? What are you talking about? She said, who's in charge here? And Lorenzo was like, well, I'm in charge, but, Kane thinks it's a good idea, and I'm going to go with Kane on this one. He's got great instincts. So they roll out, and Monet is looking at Drew like, what the hell is going on here? What's that about? Drew was like, I'm telling you, something is fishy. Something is real funky with the two of them. He been doing that, he's been basically letting Kane run everything for months now. I mean, that's something ain't right here. Or weeks or whatever. Now, while that is going on, we have Stacks out with Jenny. Jenny got the two phones. She got Blanca calling her on one phone. She got Lauren calling her on the other phone. And Stacks is like, something ain't right here. Something going on. So, of course, he takes a picture of while she's talking to Blanca, she done walked away. Or Blanca. And her other phone rings, which is Lauren. He takes a picture of the phone number so he can just investigate it later. And he tells her, look, what's going on? Like, something's up. Like, I feel like, you got the two phones. You tripping. She was like, listen, I got a lot going on. I don't have time for you and this energy. I don't have time for you to be on no jealousy type stuff. Like, it is what it is. Now, while this is going on, everybody done got their money up so they can pay Noma. Tariq shows up in a Porsche. Sir, now, listen, because this is Power and I have gotten used to just letting stuff flow, I'm going to just let this thing go with this whole Tariq then went out and bought a $100,000 car. You went from bus walking and driving. I mean, what did he say? A black man walking to a $100,000 vehicle. So you are still a college student. I'm not going to ask how you got it signed off on, whatever. I guess you paid cash for it, but whatever. Kane confronts Effie and lets Effie know, I know you the one that did Lauren. And she was like, what are you talking about? Now, personally, I feel like she should have pushed a little harder and denied a little bit longer because ain't nowhere in the world that I would have ever admitted to Kane that that's the truth. I would have went with that one to my grave because we already know Kane be with the ish. Okay? Kane be with the bullshit. Ain't nowhere in the world I would admit it to Kane that that's how that went down. But she was like, listen, he couldn't do it. It had to be done. I stepped in, but please don't say anything to Tariq. Let me tell him. I'll tell him my way because he needs to hear from me. And so Kane is like, all right, I'm gonna let you tell it, but you better hurry up and tell it. You better tell it fast. So they get inside. They give Noma's representative her money or whatever, and come to find out, now they need them to run weapons. And they were like, yo, our organization ain't set up for this. What you mean running some weapons? And they were like, listen, y'all agreed to take Mecca's place. This is what Mecca used to do. So on top of the re-up, now y'all got to move these weapons. Effie confronts, so they got to do what they got to do. Effie confronts Braden about telling Kane about the situation with Lauren. And he was like, I didn't tell Kane nothing. He was like, Kane asked me, but I wouldn't tell him. Well, somehow Kane figured it out. Wasn't hard, right? So she lets Braden know, listen, Kane know now. So this is the whole situation. And Kane was like, we just need to tell Tariq. Like, that would alleviate all of this if we would just let Tariq know what's going on. So we get to class, and y'all know that the class is always connected to something dealing in the episode. So they do this exercise called Land of Opportunity. And I've actually seen a YouTube video about this before. So you have the people line up, and they either have to take a step up, forward, or a step back based on the questions that are asked, right? If the answer is yes, they take a step forward. If the answer is no, they take a step back. So each person had to write something on an index card. Tariq wrote family. Effie wrote freedom. Donna wrote independence, right? So it was questions like, do you come from a 2-parent household? Did you go to private school? Were you ever on government assistance? Have you ever had a family member incarcerated, right? So, of course, when the exercise is over, you see who's in the front and who's in the back. And the professor was like, and this is where we all start, right? These are things where we start. Now, Effie is all the way in the back. She the last person, right? The first person is some white boy. And he still feels like, well, I mean, I still had some challenges. Like, it's still not handed to me. I still have to work for mine. And they're trying to get the white boy to understand, sir, but life is still easier for you. Are you not paying attention to what's going on here? And of course, Effie is in the back, and she got, she feeling some kind of way, but she was like, just because this way I start doesn't mean this way I got to stay, which is true. But of course, the visual is obvious, right? We understand the point that's being made. So when class is over, Tariq is talking to Effie about it, and he's like, so I see that's why you work so hard. That's why you're doing what you got to do, so you can end up in this situation, in a better situation. And she was like, yeah, I'm trying to, when I go to grad school, I'm trying to stack up enough money. So when I go to grad school, I'm moving to California, and I'm done with this. I don't want to look over my shoulder anymore. I don't want to have to worry about, being on the other side of the law. And Tariq was like, for real? Like, you moving to California? And she was like, yes. She was like, Tariq, I got something to tell you. I got something to tell you. But of course, she never tells him. He gets a phone call. He ends up having to go down to the brokerage firm, to his internship, and she doesn't tell him. And I was like, see, you're going to mess around, and you're going to get caught up in some stuff, because you really need to tell him what's going on. So, we see Lorenzo roll up on Diana to pick up his money and to drop off more drugs. And she was like, listen, no, I thought this was a one-time deal to help out the family. I'm really not trying to do this on a regular basis. Like, no, bruh. And so what did he do? He flipped the script on her, right? He started coming at her. See, the family needs you. If it wasn't for me selling drugs, you wouldn't even be at this school. How do you think I was able to afford this school? We need you. So, of course, she acquiesces, and she, she's like, okay, Poppy. Okay, Daddy. Then while this is going on, Monet is down at Davis's office complaining about the police officer. She's like, Whitman. She's like, listen, the dude is on my ass. What do we need to do? So they come up, well, Monet really comes up with this scheme. She said, listen, we need to know what he has on me before we can devise a plan. So she tells Method Man to get somebody to break in his house and get it. He was like, that's not what I do. So of course she throws a stack of money on the table and tells him, you can keep the rest. You just find somebody that can get that file for me. She said, in the meantime, I'll handle him myself. And he was like, please don't do nothing stupid. Well, she did something stupid, but we'll get to that later. Now, while this is going on, Tariq is down to the brokerage firm. Oh, the other thing, I'm sorry, pinning that. The other thing that Method Man tells her is, you need to get your daughter to go and talk to him. Like, he has to believe, he knows that you and your daughter are, beefing or whatever. And he has to believe that the daughter is ready to sort of, basically turn on you. So you need to talk to her. You need to get her on board, and you need to get her to get some information out of him. So I'm going to go ahead and knock this part of it out. So she talks to Diana. Monet goes to Diana, and of course she plays nice. I'm sorry. I was grieving. I was really upset about Zeke, and I really, really want to make this work, and I really, really want us to work through this, and I'm so, so sorry, da-da-da-da-da. And she was like, well, why would you do that? I loved you, whatever. But she agrees to go talk to Whitman. So she does. She rolls down there. She talks to Whitman, and she plays the position. She says, my mom, all this time. Well, this is after she had a conversation with her little boyfriend too, the TA. I still ain't figured out what the deal is with the TA, but the TA is convincing her that she needs to get her freedom from her family. So I was really believing her that she was really setting her mama up, because she tells the cop that, she realized that her mom is really the cancer of the family, and that she got to get rid of the mom, and that's why she's willing to work with him. And he was like, well, who told you to come and talk to me? She was like, my mother did. She was like, but understand, I want her gone. I want, so I'm going to help you get the evidence you need so you can arrest her. She was like, she keeps 2 sets of books. That the bar, he was like, I knew the bar was a drug front. She was like, yeah. And she keeps 2 sets of books. So, here's the key, here the codes to the alarm. They not going to be home tomorrow night. Here where the cameras are. I'm going to need you to come through. Let me just go ahead and finish this part of it out. So he comes, he breaks into the house. He's ready to go look for the, she told him where the files would be located. They were upstairs in the bedroom. So, of course, he comes in there. Who he run into? Diana. First thing she does, she calls 911, and she talks about they have an intruder. He's trying to break in the house. She's crying. Please hurry up. Please hurry up. Please hurry up. He tries to tell her, you don't want to do this. Your mother's a killer. Your mother did this. Your mother did that. Who come out the shadows? Monet with a gun. Child, Monet killed that man. Blew him out. Talking about something. Tell that bitch Carrie I said hi. I said, see, here we go. So we'll get back to that. Well, that's pretty much done. So then down to the brokerage firm, we got RSJ, the billionaire that they've been, trying to get his business. We got the uncle giving him a big old pitch, and the guy keeps referring back to Tariq. He was like, what you think, Tariq? Tariq, you think this is a good deal? And Tariq, he's doing his job. He's selling it, he's selling it. So he ends up telling the uncle, he was like, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I really ain't feeling it. He was like, right now, I'm really looking more into real estate. Isn't that right, Tariq? He said, and what I tell you in business, Tariq, you got to find what somebody is looking for in order to leverage for the good, right? So that's how you knew something was there. And I said, when he said real estate and then he deferred to Tariq, I was like, there's something that Tariq has that he wants. Well, come to find out, part of what is in Tariq's trust is a building that he needs for a project he's working on. So they were able to get the trustee, poor Alvin, to relinquish Tariq's trust to the brokerage firm so they would have power of attorney. And then Tariq agreed to sell the building to RJS in return to get his business, right? So I was like, once again, Tariq is making moves, right? Tariq is making moves, and I ain't mad at him. So then we have, so then we see Drew and Gordo. Gordo is part of the C squad. They like each other, they flirting with each other, but Gordo was like, look, I don't mix business with pleasure. Like, it took me a long time to get my brother's respect. They know I'm gay, but it took me a long time to get their respect. Like, I basically had to whoop their ass, and so I can't risk losing that over a fling type situation. And so Drew was like, dang, that's what I need to do, because my brother, my brother and my father still feel like I'm just out here just making bad decisions because I'm a gay boy, But they also talked about the gun situation. And so Gordo was like, listen, I know somebody. I mean, he's a racist white dude, and he's part of some militia that want to take over the world, but he'll buy your weapons off of you. So Drew and them took the idea. So Drew and Gordo, they took the idea to Mecca and Kane. And they was like, cool, because of course they don't have no idea how to get rid of the weapons, and so they down with it. But once again, Kane is punking. I said Mecca, Lorenzo. Once again, Kane is punking Lorenzo. Lorenzo told him, listen, bruh, at the end of the day, look, I'm still your daddy. You won't stop talking to me crazy and start treating me like shit. And Kane was like, sir, I own you, and I'm going to continue to own you until I decide I don't own you anymore. That's it. That's all. Tariq went to Tate. Why Tariq keeps going to Tate, I have no idea. I don't know what it is that Tariq thinks that Tate is going to tell him. But he's trying to get advice on the RSJ situation before he figured out the answer. But Tate also lets him know that Blanco and them are sniffing around, and they really want to know who killed Mecca. And he was like, I would be able to give them some great information if I could tell them. Then we have Sax and Jenny again. And once again, she got these phones blowing up. And Sax says, listen, I need to know what's going on. Either you're going to tell me what's going on, or I'm going to figure it out on my own. But either way, I'm going to find out. So you might as well just go ahead and tell me now. So Jenny ends up taking Sax to meet up with Blanca. So now they're all on the same page. Blanca is like, she don't trust Sax. And Sax is like, I don't really trust her either. But they're going to work together for the greater good. Now, mind you, Sax doesn't believe that Lauren really had anything to do, that Tariq had anything to do with killing Lauren, but he does believe that, Tariq is dirty and Monet, he believes that part of it. So, so they're going to work together. Now we see Jenny go to Lauren. Lauren is still restless. She's blowing her phone up. She wants to leave. But Jenny shows her pictures of Tariq booed up with Effie, and she was like, see, he ain't even thinking about you. He done moved on. He ain't thinking about you. So she starts asking Lauren for information about Monet, and if there are any connections between Monet and Tariq. And so Lauren is giving her the information she has. She's like, well, I do know that whenever Monet was on campus, Tariq would be acting real funny. He would be real jittery. So there's something there. I'm just not sure what it is, So she's giving her information, but again, she's antsy and she's ready to get the hell out of there. So they get ready to pull this caper and go sell these weapons, right? And of course, they get Braden to do it because, like Gordo told them, you can't do it because they racist. So you can't do it, I can't do it. But if you got a white boy on your team, and of course they got one in the pocket, Braden. So Braden actually did a pretty good job doing the deal. But of course the dudes didn't trust him let me rewind. When they got ready to go do the deal, Kane decided he was going to cut Drew and Gordo out of the deal. And Drew and Gordo was like, wait a minute, like, we bought the deal too, y'all. How y'all going to cut us out of the action? Kane said, listen, you stay home, we got it, right? And so, of course, that was a whole situation. But we'll get back to that. So, like I said, Braden actually did a pretty good job of selling the weapons or whatever. He did a really good job of it. But again, the dudes just didn't trust Braden from the beginning because they were like, who told you about us? Where'd you come from? Who are you? Who are you buying? Where are you getting them from? And Braden was like, don't worry about all that. Just know that, you give me the money, I'll give you the weapons. And when I got some more, I'll hit you up and we'll re-up again. So dude took pictures of Braden. He took pictures of Braden, took pictures of the license plate of the truck, which of course, you know, the truck was bogus anyway. And they ended up actually following Braden back to the hotel where Lorenzo and Kane were waiting. They was in some little motel, you know, no-tail motel waiting for him. So he shows up and they actually bust through the door and it becomes a whole shootout. Well, two important things happened at this shootout. First thing that happened was they end up, Lorenzo actually saves Kane's life, right? He could have let Kane die and then all his troubles would have been over, but he saved his life. So that was the first thing. The second thing was both of them was about to die except for who showed up? Drew and Gordo. And what we found out is Lorenzo told them to come and come back, you know, swing back through and be there for backup just in case things went down. And so Kane was like, "You did that? You told him to come back?" He was like, "Damn, I guess I do have something to learn." He was like, "Well, you know, thank you for saving my life, and you know, I apologize." Mind you, Braden left, child. And they had pictures of Braden's car, his real car, the Mercedes with his real license tag. They had all of that. So he was like, you know, Dad, he was like, you know, we even. Like, I'm done. I'm not gonna tell Monet, and we're good. We're even. We're good. So, and then Drew and Gordo end up hooking up, child, because Gordo got grazed. Drew took care of his wounds, whatever. So, all of this goes down, and let me make sure I got everything, child. Oh, and what we found out later on is the dude, so it was two guys that got into the shootout with Mecca and Kane. One dude was gone. He didn't make it. The other one made it, but of course he's in critical condition. We find out, what is he? A DEA agent. Working for who? Blanca. I said, damn, is she the only person that work at the damn Secret Service, CIA, FBI, IBS, ABCDEFG? Damn. Anyway. So the police come, they back down to the Tejada house. The police come, they question Monet, they question Diana. Davis is telling Monet this was dumb as hell. I don't understand why you did this. This was stupid. But okay, we're gonna get through it the best way we can. You know, you make sure that y'all stories are straight, and that's it. That's all. We see Tariq go back down. You know, we see him and Effie. You know, Tariq lets Effie know, look, you know, you was talking earlier about heading out to California. You know, I agree. Like, I ain't really trying to look over my shoulder the rest of my life either. I'm trying to make these deals. And, you know, if I can get in good with billionaires like, you know, RSJ, you know, I can flip it. And, you know, how about, you know, what you think about me coming out to California with you? Now, at first I thought Effie was going to be like, hell nah. But, of course, she was flattered. And she was like, oh, yeah, that'd be great. She ends up texting Kane, telling Kane, look, I can't tell him. Like, Tariq is the only person that's ever had my back. And I can't tell him. You know, so can you just keep this between us? Now, Kane gonna say, yeah, I got you. But Kane is the wrong person to have to owe a favor to. Kane is gonna hold on to that until he finds it is most advantageous to him. Okay? Last but not least, Monet. She did get the police report. I mean, the report from Whitman's house. And come to find out, there's a fingerprint from Lorenzo at Zeke's crime scene. And she was like, what the hell was Lorenzo doing there? Because remember, they had a whole plan. Lorenzo wasn't supposed to be nowhere near that plane hangar. So, of course, she has a suspect. And y'all know how Monet get. So, yeah, Lorenzo, I think it's going to be a whole lot of slow singing and flower bringing in your future. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I will talk to y'all later. Peace.